People talk a lot about what they miss about their younger years, but nobody talks enough about what they absolutely do not miss. And some things can stay exactly where they were: uncomfortable shoes, overscheduled weekends, giant grocery hauls, trying to impress people you don't even know or like, potluck lunches at work. Hi, I'm Susan, and welcome to the channel. Of course, there are things I do miss. I miss having knees that didn't announce every staircase before I tried to climb them or after I climbed them. I miss being able to read a restaurant menu without first locating the nearest source of light. And I definitely miss being able to eat a few slices of pizza at 10 o'clock at night without my digestive system filing a formal complaint. Oh, this one brings back such good memories. My friend and I, when we were in our late teens, would drive to the local pizza joint on a Friday night and order an 8-slice pizza and a jug of chocolate milk and proceed to finish it all. We'd do this a couple of times a month, and I just remember having such a good time laughing all night long, not thinking of calories, pure freedom. And now freedom looks like canceled plans and eating toast for dinner. Oh, to be carefree like a teenager and have the metabolism of one as well. I do miss that. But more and more, I realize there are quite a few things from my old life that I'm perfectly happy to leave in the past. The first thing I don't miss: constant rushing. My goodness, why was I always in such a rush? Hurry and get ready, hurry and get to work, hurry home, hurry and finish dinner so I could hurry and tidy up the house. It felt like my entire life was one long race against the clock. I used to feel guilty if I sat down before 9 p.m. Even on weekends I was rushing, especially on weekends it seemed, which felt particularly unfair. Weekends go by so fast without speed walking through them. I don't miss busy weekends. You know the weekends I'm talking about. The kind where you're busy from Friday night until Sunday evening, running errands and attending events and checking things off lists. I used to have weekends that were completely full and yet somehow never got around to doing any of the things that I actually wanted to do. Now I guard my time much more carefully, not because I'm antisocial, although I could be, but because I finally understand that rest and recharging isn't laziness, it's necessary. I used to think that exhaustion meant I was being productive. How wonderful it is now to be able to drink a coffee or a tea while it's still hot. These days I move much slower, and nothing terrible has happened as a result. The world keeps spinning just as fast, the bills still get paid, and somehow life feels a whole lot better. One thing I absolutely do not miss: those questions about dating. You know the ones. So, are you seeing anyone? Have you met anyone? Are you still looking? I was never looking. There was a period of life where people seemed deeply invested in this topic, as if my happiness hinged entirely on whether I had a dinner date for the weekend. And now, nobody asks anymore. I think we've collectively moved on. Instead, people ask things like, have you tried magnesium? Or, do you know a good osteopath? I find those conversations much more useful, and I don't have to fib. Another thing I don't miss having my own home. Now, before anyone gets upset, I know many people wouldn't dream of renting or leaving their home, and I get that. But for me, a home mostly meant more things to work on, more chores, more repairs, and more money. And let's not forget the garden and the yard. I did have a beautiful garden, but how did it get so much bigger every year? For the last few years, I felt like I was working for my house. The house certainly wasn't working for me. And now my townhouse takes about 10 minutes to tidy. Okay, maybe 20 or 30 if I'm feeling particularly ambitious. The point is, the ease of this home serves me now, not the other way around. And that feels incredibly freeing, which brings me to possessions. Oh my goodness, the stuff. Why did we have so much stuff? Buying and collecting and storing and organizing and reorganizing, decluttering and recluttering, purchasing containers to organize things I forgot I even had. At one point, I had bins full of smaller bins. I don't even know how that happens. I had items I rarely used, items I barely noticed. I felt like I was the curator of a museum dedicated to things I don't need. And now I'm much more interested in decumulating. That's a word I never thought I'd use, but here we are. And every time I get rid of something I no longer need, I feel a little lighter, triumphant even, a little less responsible for keeping track of one more random object. Another thing I don't miss, driving so much. I had to drive a lot for my job. I was a computer technician for several schools located throughout the city and, and outside of the city as well. So I drove a lot. It was a pain in the neck on a good day. And during winter or on icy or snow days, that was a whole other level of crazy. Now I realize I'm about to sound like somebody's grandmother. Actually, I am the age where I get to say things like this. But truly, has anyone noticed how busy everything has become? The roads, the parking lots, the stores, the traffic lights. I swear there are places in this city 5 minutes away which are now a 25-minute drive. And every year I hear myself saying things like, there used to be a field there, or when did they build that? Or, wow, this city has grown so much. The transformation is complete. I have become the person I used to laugh at. And you know what? I understand them now. These days, if I can avoid a drive during peak traffic, I consider that a major victory. I won't even attempt a Costco run unless it's a Tuesday morning. Another thing I don't miss, high heels and uncomfortable clothes, or feeling the need to look presentable at all times. Boy, my standards sure have relaxed. Another perk of being invisible. And along the same lines is keeping a spotless house for surprise visitors. There are no surprise visitors. I'm not sure if that's the same with you, but here now, especially since COVID, no one visits without texting first. If someone just landed on my doorstep, I'd think it was a major emergency. Another thing I definitely don't miss, trying to please everybody. This one took me a long time to learn. I spent my life worrying about what other people thought. Did they approve? Were they disappointed? Did they understand my choices? Should I explain myself better? Looking back, I devoted an awful lot of energy to managing other people's opinions. How impossible and ridiculous. And now I know for sure most people were just worrying about their own lives, not me or mine. Now, don't get me wrong, I still want to be kind. I still care about people, but I no longer feel responsible for making everybody happy. That's a full-time job with no pension plan. One of the greatest gifts of getting older is realizing that approval is overrated. Peace is better. And speaking of peace, the older I get, the more I realize that life isn't about checking boxes. It's not about keeping up. It's not about doing what everybody else thinks you should do. And while there are certainly things I miss from earlier chapters of life, there are also plenty of things I don't miss at all. The rushing, the pressure, the obligations, the clutter, the people pleasing, the constant need to prove something. I don't miss any of it. My life may look smaller now to some people, but it feels so much bigger and better to me. What's one thing you definitely don't miss from years gone by? Let me know in the comments. I have a feeling there will be some great ones. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I always appreciate you taking the time to join me. Until next time, take care.